Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm creating a slimline card using the adorable Hello Hummingbirds stamp set by Paperie ink. Now this is just adorable, and for my slimline panel I'm using the Fawn large slimline with sliders. Now as far as I know there aren't any matching dies at Paperie ink. Well, if they were I would buy them because I love matching dies. But if I don't have those, I quite often try to make one layer cards. This way I can fussy cut the masks out, but they don't need to be perfect. And well, that's something that I prefer over fussy cutting with the white border my images out to add to the card. So I laid everything out, I stamped it out onto this slimline card panel. And this is Transotype perfect coloring paper. I'm I'm using it all the time lately, so I think you know by now, but just for those who are new to my channel maybe, that's what I'm using. Also here for these hummingbirds, I tried this new combination. Well, several people will have already used it, but the combination of really pink to an orangey pink I haven't used yet, and I love it. So I'm really glad that I tried it. And I'm going to color these hummingbirds exactly the same. All of them. And also all the flowers. I first thought of using another combination and then the flowers doing really bright colors as well. But then I thought, let's keep it simple. Like always, if I can keep it simple, I try to do that. Also, this color works perfect on the flowers as well. So that's what I did. The other bird I didn't show because it's the same principle, except I did the shadowing on the other side, just checking how the birds are facing, and that's where my shadows are, like the other direction of where they are facing at is darker. But here this one is, well, it's facing right at us, so the shadows are on both edges of this one, so that's why I'm showing it as well. I think it can be handy, but there are several ways to add shadows. Whatever you prefer, whatever you like, of course, is the way to go here. But I just thought of showing you both the options here. So I'm doing 2 layers. As you know me, I prefer at least 2 layers for this kind of paper. But if I need more, I can do that because this paper really helps me with Copic coloring, because it isn't like, it doesn't start bleeding as quickly as other papers that I already used. So that's what I really like. You have a lot of wiggle room with your Copic markers. Now from time to time I'm going outside the lines, no worries. There is a colorless blender that you can always use to push that color back in. So that's what I do. I just love having everything clean and neat and colored inside the lines, but I'm not perfect. I go outside the lines quite often. And there are also days where just the coloring isn't working. I don't know, you will have seen some videos like that, but just like going outside the lines everywhere. Sometimes it's just like that, but no worries. So going onto my second layer here for the face, and then just making sure that I like the blend. And then we can move on to the flowers. So as I said, same color for the flowers, and then of course green for the greenery, for the leaves and all those things. So for the shadowing on the flowers, I'm really checking out where there is an overlap in the petals, as well as just on the outside, like the last bird. In my opinion, they are facing a bit at us, so just making sure that it is everywhere the shadow that I want it to be. So as you can see, the greenery, it's all sort of the same. Just also really vibrant colors. Already keeping in mind the colors that I want to use on the background. As well as for the hello, there I'm using some minty colors. This is my favorite combo, really. It is. I'm addicted. You want snow? You can use this. You want some vibrancy? You can use this. You want some icing on cake? You can use this color combination. Again and again and again. I just adore it. Also, clouds. Perfect. You know where I'm going? It's the combo that you need to have, in my opinion. So again, 2 layers. I'm just creating a slight gradient where the bottom of the letters are a bit darker than the rest. And once that's done, all the coloring is done, and then I can start on the background. Now therefore I needed some masks, so I created them using some full stick post-it notes, and I fussy cut them out. Now I want to have some sort of gradient or a blend just above the hello, so I didn't mind fussy cutting all the tiny holes out of the letters and in between the flowers, because I just want to have a blend above it. And then, well, I'm preserving my stitching details. You know me. Sometimes I think I repeat myself a lot, but there are just some phases as a card maker, as well as there are some things that you just prefer, like keeping my stitching details white. So that's why I keep repeating this process. So for the ink blending on the back, I am using squeezed lemonade, cracked pistachio, and in the end I will also add Evergreen Bough to create a bit of a darker color on the top. So when you're ink blending, it's not always easy. If you're new to it and you have distress inks and distress oxide inks, I would recommend distress oxide inks. You really have a lot of wiggle room. Now there you have that chalky finish, and me personally, I prefer the bright finishing of the distress inks. Now the distress inks are less forgiving as the oxide inks, as well as some papers just really don't help you with ink blending. So if you're new to this and you don't have the oxide, or you also prefer the distress inks, the regular ones like me, I started with Strathmore Bristol Smooth, and that's also paper that keeps your ink wet longer, so you have more time to wriggle around with your colors. This paper, I love it for Copic markers, and I also love blending on it, but it's not as easy, so I had to try it out and keep practicing. It's not as forgiving. But if you're practiced and you like 1 layers and you like to have the option to add lots of layers of your Copic markers, then this paper is truly recommended by me, as well as some other crafters, I'm sure of that. And well, if you're known with all the processes of ink blending and you're good in it and you don't need to figure it out, or you're not a starter or anything like that, then you can definitely use this paper like I do. But I know when I started with ink blending that I used the wrong paper, and I got frustrated because it just didn't work out as good as I wanted it to, and it took me a lot of time to figure it out, and it was annoying. So if you're new to it, I really recommend starting with a paper or with an ink that is leaving you a lot of room to wiggle around with colors, with ink blending, with all those things. With my panel finished and all the mask removed, it was time to add some embellishments. And today I'm using some white hearts from the Heart Sprinkle Mix by Trinity Stamps, Sweet-N-Tart. And I just love these heart sprinkles. I use mostly the white ones, but well, all 3 colors are wonderful, and there are also other colors. I also have black ones and brown ones, which are called coffee bean. Okay, that that just as a tiny side thingy. Okay, so I'm just scattering these hearts a bit around, and then once I'm happy with placement, I'm going to add these using some liquid glue. I also tried these others out, but wasn't digging them. So, and now that I'm finally happy with placement, I can really start adhering them. Sometimes it is a bit of a search to get those sequins right, and even then, I'm not always that sure about placement. But we can always ask each other. So I asked my crafty friends if needed what they think about placement or card design, or why not. So, having done that, I need to add this panel onto a card base, and then we are going to add some final details. So I'm just using an adhesive ruler. This is the way I prefer to add my panels onto a card base. And once that's on there, I'm going to add some glossy accents onto the hello part. Well, it's just an additional shiny thingy, so why not? And once that's done, this card truly is completely finished. I'm not going to add anything more. If you want, you can always add some stickers as well, but just keeping it to this with the glossy accents and the heart sprinkles. So with this video almost finished and the card as well, I hope that you truly enjoyed the video. Also that you loved the end result. If you do, you can always give this one a thumbs up and I would truly appreciate that. That also shows me what you like. And yeah, that's it. Here I'm fixing up the edges of the hello just using this needly thingy to get rid of the excess and move the glossy accents a bit around where needed. And then I continue with all the rest. So that's that. Thank you so much for stopping by and taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you have an amazing day left, and I will be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!